Hey guys, Chris from Provo Beast Audio Installation, and in today's video we're going to be replacing the factory double din on this 2004 Toyota Tacoma. Now in this install, we're going to show you how to replace this factory double din with an aftermarket radio. Let's get started. First thing we need to do is get this guy on out. Now the first thing to pull apart this dash assembly, let's go ahead and remove our ashtray here, or coin holder. And then next we need to remove this lower pocket here. So with this little clip, we push in the center like that and it slides on out. When we look to reinstall it, we push the clip out the opposite direction, seat the clip itself, and then push the little button in to secure it. Okay, so that's out of the way. We just disconnected our harnesses off the power sockets. What that's now going to expose is a screw down below. Go ahead and remove the Phillips. So once that bottom is out of the way, next thing, go ahead and just pull on your little knobs here. Let's go ahead and pull our 3 knobs up and around. So after you move those 3 knobs here, go ahead and just kind of stick your finger in and see if you can grab this little panel. Pull this on out. Okay, so we removed this little panel. Now you'll notice there's going to be a screw up on this side. Okay, so with those on out, let's go ahead now finally grab the bottom here. We're going to start working this piece on out. Just like that. Now we can just lay it down like that. We don't have to totally disconnect it. We have plenty of room to work. Alright, go ahead and pull your radio. And then you want to disconnect your harnesses off the back of the radio here. Okay, let's take this with us over to the bench to show you the parts that we're going to need for our install. Alright, so the parts that we're going to need for our install, first and foremost, is the radio that the customer has chosen to be installed. It's this Pioneer AVH120BT. Now, to accommodate this in the dash, believe it or not, for this generation Tacoma, we do not need any sort of dash kit unless you're doing a single din radio and you don't have the factory pocket. If you are doing a double din, no dash kit is required. If you are doing a single din and previously had a double din, you're going to need the dash pocket, which we can link it down in the description. Now, to accommodate our Pioneer in the factory location, outside of needing any sort of dash kit, we do need a wiring harness adapter, and this will fit most of this, if not all of this generation Tacoma. It's the Metra 70-1761 wiring harness adapter. Essentially, we'll take that adapter and pair it with the radio harness, matching color for color. So at this point of time, that's the basic parts we need. So the first thing that we need to do is grab our radio harness adapter and the harness that came with the radio itself. We're going to strip both ends. Today we're going to be soldering, but if you don't know how to solder, we suggest either butt connectors or crimp caps to make your connections. Alright, so what we've done here is we have stripped both ends of our harnesses. This end will plug into the factory plugs in the vehicle. This one connects to our Pioneer radio, or whatever radio that you'd be installing. Like I said before, for the most part, we're just going to be matching color for color. There's a couple of wires that won't match up exactly, like your parking brake wire. Either you'll need to bypass it or hook it up correctly. Today we're going to be hooking up to the parking brake that's in the kick of the truck. And basically everything else will match up. This does have a solid blue, which is your amplified antenna circuit. You can simply hook it up to the blue-white wire unless your radio specifically has a blue antenna wire output. Other than that, for our purposes here today, it should match color for color. So let's get soldering. Alright, so we finished up our wiring harness adapter. We soldered up each color for color. Wires that weren't included in this harness was our amp turn on. This doesn't need it. And our backup camera trigger. So these are 2 items that we'll find elsewhere in the vehicle. If you're not adding an amplifier, you can just terminate the blue-white wire. And if you're not doing a backup camera, no action is needed there as well. Here's our Parking brake wire, we kept that nice and long, and that'll run all the way down to the parking brake ground that's located within the mechanism itself. At this point, we're going to move our heat shrink up and over our soldered connections here, and then we're going to shrink them down with the heat gun. Okay, so with our harness cooled, we're going to now wrap it with some testa tape. You can use zip ties. It just protects the wiring a little bit more on the dash, keeps everything together. All right, so that's all done and taped up here. Everything was color for color, and we have our backup camera trigger wire out here. We lift it out because we actually are doing a backup camera on this truck, which we'll link in the description if you want to see that video. We have an amplifier turn-on wire, or the trigger wire, which we're also doing a sub and amp in this. So again, we lift that out for ease of access, put a butt connector on those two. And we also teed in just to the red one in parallel, another red wire. We just soldered it in along with the other red wires, just so we could power the backup camera. Our harness is done, it's good to go. At this point of time, we could take this and set it off to the side. Next, what we need to do is transfer the brackets over from the factory radio onto our aftermarket radio. Alright, so at this point in time we have finished assembling our radio. Again, we just put the brackets on the radio. Harness is all done. We don't need an antenna adapter or any other accessory. Super straightforward for this truck. At this point in time, let's head back to the truck, grab our new equipment, and get everything installed. All right, so let's grab our harness adapter here. Just like that. And our antenna adapter is plenty along here. This will plug directly in. No adapter needed specifically for that. And that's it. So let's go ahead and start getting our radio connected. Okay, with all our connections made, let's tuck our wiring back in here. Just like so. All right, so it's a great idea to test it to make sure it's working properly. Okay, so at this point of time, let's go ahead and finish reassembling the dash. All right, so we got everything back in here. We still need to put the side clips there at the bottom, but for the most part, we are there. Everything seems to be working great. We also did a backup camera in this truck. So if you want to see how we did this backup camera and integrated this with the existing aftermarket radio, we'll link that video down in the description, which walks you through step by step. Additionally, in this install, if you want to see how we did the front speakers, rear speakers, or even an amp and sub, we'll link those videos also in the description. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you like what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe to post great content on the channel all the time. We'll see you in the next video.